All right, guys. So today we're actually going to go over mindset and 2022 goal setting. So if you haven't done this already for the year, this will be your chance to work through some of the initial top level stuff. If you have already done it for the year, just go back and look at what you did, see if it's in alignment, factor it in, and feel free to ask questions within the Skillbridge group as well within the Slack channel. This is always, the purpose of the Skillbridge, as we've talked about many times, is for you guys to build up your real estate business, right? So business questions are appropriate as well. It's not just, hey, how do I get my license? How do I do this and that? That is a primary focus, obviously, so that you can start getting to actually building your business. But asking questions as you go through stuff and you have questions about the business building aspect, those are appropriate as well. So feel free to toss those in. All right, so if you'll give me a second, I'm going to share some slides that I have for today. All right, can everyone see the slides that are up?
Yes.
All right, all good to go? Thumbs up?
All set.
Thank you, appreciate that. All right, so I'm gonna walk through this. This is something that I'm very passionate about, spent a lot of time on over the years between military career, but also getting ready to exit the military eventually in the last 5 years as we've been building up more, especially when it comes to investments, but also personal goals. So from a mindset perspective, one of my favorite quotes, and I've presented using this quote as well. So whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Right. So this is a Henry Ford quote. If you know the history of Henry Ford and of building the automobile, never been done before, right? Everyone told him it was impossible to include his own teams. So the engineers that he had hired, everyone else, he went to them with, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to create. This is what I want from you. Go figure it out. And they kept coming back to him with, we can't do it. It's impossible. We're failing. There's no way to do it. And his response back constantly was, we are going to do this. You're going to find a way. Failure is not an option, right? And so this was a mindset thing for him. It was, I know we can do this. It's a problem that, hasn't been solved before. I know we can solve it. We are going to solve it. And therefore they did end up solving it. If he had had the mindset when they came back to him the first time of, you know what, that sucked. We tried it. It didn't work. Okay, we can't do it. He would have stopped right then. We might not have the automobile today, right? So this one to me is critically important because it changes, your mindset and how you go into things changes typically the results and how your body feels, how it resonates. We'll get into some other stuff as far as the universe in general, whatever your beliefs are. It's agnostic from that perspective, but your mindset's critical in all this stuff that you do, especially in real estate, as you're going to come upon challenges within this business. It's not an easy business, right? But it's very rewarding. As we've talked about before, there's unlimited income potential, unlimited potential to help people during one of the most stressful times in their life. Studies show that buying and selling a home is more stressful than having a baby, more stressful than changing jobs, more stressful than death in a family. I mean, it's one of the most stressful events for people because we connect all the things that we are, if you will, our life and everything else with the home that we live in and the location that we live in. Right. So especially those that are moving from like one city to another, I mean, that drastically changes everything as they're getting new doctors and, new friend circles and all that stuff. So just very stressful environments that we're helping people in. And that's the opportunity that you have coming into this business, is to serve people in that aspect coming out of, your career of service to our country. All right. So top 12 books. If you're not reading, outside of this program, reading is important, right? So whether, it's different stuff that we're asking you to read at this point, right? It's not regulations, it's not AFIs or instructions from your military service, it's not tech orders, it's not anything like that, but it's directly applicable to how you're going to end up executing your real estate business. Again, going to mindset, ideas. One that's not up here, that's a great one as well for longer term. So you could add a 13th, would be like Tom Ferry, mindset, marketing, and modeling. So that's really what you're looking at is within these books, you're looking for tactics that you can incorporate into your business, but also if it's real estate books, so like Gary Keller's is a real estate book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and The One Thing, reading those and incorporating that, that's really doing modeling, right? And there's nothing wrong with looking at what high performers or people that are in the position that you want to be in, whether it be financially, the number of hours that you want to work, which goes to the 4-hour work week with Tim Ferriss, any of those types of things. There's nothing wrong with looking at that, figuring out what they're doing as far as you can tell on the surface level and modeling that. And within EXP, what I'll tell you is you can actually reach out to the people and ask them, what are you doing? I want to be where you're at. I would like to implement things that you're doing. And most agents within EXP will share with you. Because again, that's one of the core tenets of EXP is collaboration, right? And that's part of why we put this on, is to share insights into how you build a successful real estate business. So if you have people that you see that, hey, I want to be there, they're making $100,000 a year and they're working 10 hours a week and they have time freedom to be able to spend with their family and homeschool their kids, there's someone in EXP that's doing that, right? We have an agent that just recently joined under us where one of her main focuses is supporting her kids and homeschooling her kids, period. There's no client discussions for like the first 4 hours of the morning for her because that's her priority. And then she goes off and handles real estate clients and she'll work until late into the night if needed. But that's her priorities, right? And so we meet like our partner agents that partner with us, we meet them where they're at. So for us, our focus has been getting her set up with a mentor that will support that approach. That's not going to drive her towards working 60-hour weeks and sacrificing her family, right? That's not what she's focused on. So with these books, highly recommend that you put them on a reading schedule for the year. Try to get through one a month. It's 12 books, right? In addition to what you're doing right now. Write down notes, document things that you can implement in your business, right? Some of this is going to be, I don't know if I can implement it because you haven't started your business yet. Take the note down anyways, right? Or highlight it in the book, highlight it on Kindle, whatever, so that if you need to come back to it, you can, and you can start incorporating. There's little nuggets in each one. So Millionaire Real Estate Agent is really how do you get to producing $1 million, keeping $1 million, and then getting to a passive $1 million is essentially what he focuses on. Gary Keller and The One Thing is really focusing on what's the one thing that can change your entire business. Compound effect is the little small things that you do every single day, just like compound interest, have a cumulative effect over time where it's compounding and result in a much greater effect than the individual items just added together. Ninja selling gets into how do you sell without selling and without people knowing that you're selling, and specific marketing techniques. 6 steps to 7 figures, obviously trying to get to 7 figures there. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, famous FBI hostage negotiator. That gets into, when you're doing counteroffers and stuff, don't just split in the middle, right? Like, how do you calculate things? How do you get into the emotions behind it? Show that there were actually calculations made on your side on the numbers to make them think that it's your true stop point, so that they don't try to push you higher, those types of things. Rocket Fuel and Conversion Code deal with business aspects, and then Conversion Code with funnels. 4-hour work weeks, pretty self-explanatory. Book of Yes is just walking through and different approaches. There's some people that take the approach of no to everything, and then yes selectively. There's others that go, okay, how can I find a way to do this? High Performance Habits, great book by Brendan Burchard. If you haven't read it, definitely read that one. And then Hal Elrod is famous for Miracle Morning. He's got Miracle Morning for millionaires, Miracle Morning for real estate agents. He's got several different books. But if you don't know his story, he was in a car wreck at a very young age, was basically incapacitated from the car wreck, was told that he'd never walk again, he'd never really participate in society in life, all those types of things, and that it could not be further from the truth when it comes to his impact on society. So very inspiring book there as well. So highly recommend you put this on a reading plan, figure out how you want to get through it, start reading 5 or 10 pages a day, and you'll start chunking through these books. All right, so visualization. This is one of our key takeaways from several events that we've gone to. It's talked about at most of the events, especially high performer events, where you're getting together with people that are doing, a ton of business, have the life that they want, or living life by design. Visualization is critically important. As you go through this, you'll learn, if you study it at all, basically by doing a vision board and by focusing on things and looking at them on a regular basis. What happens is, from a scientific perspective and a biological perspective, your reticular activating system gets activated. So you might notice this in everyday stuff. Like when you start going out looking for, let's say you want to buy a red Honda Civic, right? You're interested in that car, you start researching it, you start looking at it. Over time, you start noticing yourself seeing all these red Honda Civics on the highway that you didn't notice before, right? And what's happening is your brain has a filter effect as well. So you've now told your brain, by looking at it over and over and paying attention to it and spending time on it, that this thing is important to you. And what happens is your brain now starts allowing that through your filter instead of blocking it out, where before it was just in the noise. Now your brain, since it believes it's important to you, starts highlighting it to you everywhere that it is, right? Law of attraction. If you get into looking at The Secret, which we would highly recommend doing, and do it during your Skillbridge time. This is a very important, from our perspective, movie, and also the books, which we're probably going to order. I just realized they had the 5-book series. They're coming out with the 5th one here in February. But The Secret is again very big on visualization and intentionality, and what you desire and what you put out into the universe is what you attract, right? And it's not, there are some people on there that get into the religious aspect for them, their personal faith. But there are also other people on there that don't have those religious beliefs, that just, call it the universe. So it's very religion agnostic from that perspective. For us, we've had several personal examples of this. So, both from an income perspective with gross commission income, the last 2 years of doing vision boards, we hit both our desired income levels or exceeded them. This year we hit it and then reset it, because we hit it. We were projecting to hit it earlier in the year. And so we said, okay, our goal is too low. Let's reset it. We reset it to hit a 7-figure GCI for the first time. And we hit that by like $500. The car that's up here. So this is Tasha's dream car. Anyone that's watched Iron Man, you've seen this in the movie. That's how she fell in love with it. So in 2013, for a birthday surprise for her, a friend of a friend from church brought the car over, hung out at our house for an hour while, or actually took her out first in the car, showed up. She had no clue that it was happening. She thought I had forgotten her birthday because of how I went about the approach, because I didn't know if this was going to happen for sure. So I couldn't really tell her. It was, hey, if I have time, I'll swing over. And she thought I had forgotten her birthday. We were in the middle of moving from Albuquerque to Los Angeles for a PCS. We had our fridge outside that we were selling, all that type of stuff. And I was like, her dad was in town to help us. I was like, hey, sweetie, can you come outside for a minute and like help me with the fridge out there? I need help for a second. And had a camera on underneath my jacket, so paparazzi style, walking backwards as she's coming out. Got a great capture of her and her dad as she saw the car on the street, big smiley face. And then they walked around the car, and then that friend of a friend offered, hey, let's, you've never ridden in one, right? Let's go out for a drive. And so they went out for a drive in the car. They were gone for about 45 minutes. He came back, highly successful businessman in the area. He came back and he's like, David, have you ever driven or ridden this car? I'm like, no. I just did this because it's Tasha's dream car, right? And he's like, well, here's the key. Why don't you guys go take it out together? So I went out and drove it for about an hour. Beautiful car, fully optioned V10. So only 2 differences between that car and the one below it. Well, 3, I guess, the model year. Ours is a V10 Plus, and ours is a matte color. His was a normal glossy color. But other than that, the cars are the same. And so this car and various images of either this one or the other ones very similar has been on our vision boards, and we've been looking at for several years now. In 2019, we sold my my prized possession car. I had a show winning Corvette, that was, my fun car that I helped build. We sold that in preparation for possibly doing something different in the future. And then in 2020, finally decided to pull the trigger, had a great real estate year, used that to end up buying Tasha her dream car and making that a reality. But if you look, the cars are very, very similar. And we're not the only one with this type of story. One of our mentors, Rod Cleef, within the apartment investing world, talks a ton about visualization as well. And he brings a book to his boot camp where he's got, back in the day, he was focused on cars, watches, that type of thing, not as much now. But he had the Rolexes in his book, the red Ferrari, all that type of stuff. And he shows the photos he had on his vision board and then the photos of the cars that he bought. And they were almost identical, down to the color, all that stuff. So visualization becomes very important as far as what you want. And it doesn't have to be cars or material things, right? If it's more time with your family, put a clock up or put family photos up or whatever. We have those on our vision board too, which I'm going to pop up next. But what I would recommend on this for visualization and as you're building your business and you're exiting from the military, go on Canva, create a free account, do a custom Canva canvas to the exact pixel size of your computer desktop for your monitor. Upload all the photos that you want on there for your visualization for what's important for you for 2022, whatever you want to focus on. Arrange them however you want to, then download that photo when you're done and make it your desktop background. Because what's going to happen is outside of your cell phone, if you're working on your computer all day, outside of your cell phone and your lock screen on your cell phone, your desktop is going to be the thing that you're going to look at the most each and every day. It's not going to be a photo that you hang on a wall somewhere in your house or a vision board where you cut stuff out of magazines and post it up and put it on a wall on your house, because that requires you to turn and look at it. It's going to be the computer that's right in front of you that you're working on all day, every day for Skillbridge and to build your business, right? And so if you do that, it's also readily available. So if you read Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning and you decide to implement that, and part of it is visualization and journal, so gratification, you can also use that vision board that's on your desktop each morning or each night, however you incorporate it, to look at it, to have that visualization, and then to have that gratitude of the things that you've accomplished so far or in the process of accomplishing. So with that, I'll give you an idea of what mine looks like, because I don't mind sharing it just for people to look at. So for me, faith is important to us, so we do have that up there. I have a I am type statement, a declaration statement at the top. And this again comes from like Rod Cleef's boot camps and Tony Robbins and just, Tony was one of his big mentors. So that's definitely has a lot of play into it. For us, we had goals to help 60 families this year. We fell a little bit short, but we did hit the income goal. I have a bunch of other quotes up there, either ones where I found pictures and put them on or ones that I created. So Warren Buffett's is one of my favorite quotes when it comes to real estate. The realization of I'll do today the things that others don't, so I'll have tomorrow what others won't. So again, that's just what's your mindset, what's your goal setting. Health, wealth, freedom is a focus of ours. So doing stuff every day that makes a difference, making each day count, because we're never guaranteed, another minute. In the middle is myself and Tasha and our two nieces and nephew in Florida. So that's very important to us. You also see them in the very bottom middle, as well as her dad, her sister, and our brother-in-law, and then family that we helped as we're building a house in Florida, and we bought a lot next to them. So that was from that. Some cars that we really like that are aspirational cars, both down in the lower left and in the middle. Some of them are like, possibly unobtainable. We're talking like $10 million car here, but hey, why not? While you're dreaming, right? Visualizing, put some big, massive goals up there. The 83,333, if you're not familiar, is the amount of money that you need to make each month to hit $1 million in a year, right? It's just $1 million divided by 12. So that's long-term goal is $1 million of passive income per year. I'll give a shameless plug for a friend of mine, Vic Hill, who's also a previous client and a military member. He's got a podcast that he started called the 83K. And the idea is he brings on entrepreneurs on there that are striving towards that type of goal as well, but also helping people figure out how to build their businesses, income, et cetera. And then financial freedom definition for me, dream beach house on there, several photos from Tasha and I in various locations, including Australia. in Hawaii, so traveling the world, which is a big thing for us. And then the owning 5,000 doors is the apartment investments that we make. We surpassed that this year. So most of these we checked off. We also track a lot of these, and I recommend is you build your goals out, track them in an Excel sheet, a Word doc, whatever, so that you can identify at the end of the year where you hit compared to what your goal was, whether you were red, yellow, green, and what you want to do the next year and what your goals are. We set our initial goals out in, I think, 2017 from a business perspective, and we did 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10-year goals all at once. And we've kept those and then slightly modified those over time. But I think that becomes very helpful because you get several short years than a midterm and a long-term goal as you're looking to build. And then for me, faith, family, friends is very important. The fourth one that I add on there is the freedom. We actually have something in our house hanging that says faith, family, friends, freedom. That was a custom creation from a friend. All right, so business planning. When you get down to your business goals, finances, et cetera, I mean, it all really comes down to basic math equations. A lot of this is going to stem on your activity. You can draw this stuff back, and this comes from Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So what's your income goal? What's the average sale price of a home in your area? What's the average commission? To reach your income goal, how many sales do you need to have, right? And then from a business planning perspective, is you start tracking your activities as you're building your business. So buyer showings, seller listing appointments, buyer consultations, signed buyer reps, then goes to buyer showings, then goes to, offers made, then accepted offers, and then closed offers. You can track all those, and you can track the number of clients inbound that it takes to get to an actual successful closing. And once you've started tracking that data, you can now flow that through to, okay, how many people do I need to talk to reach my sale goal, which will then allow me to reach my income goal. And then from that perspective, just break it down to a daily and weekly basis. How many people do I need to talk to each day? How many people each week? Right? Because if you don't know those numbers and you're not measuring those numbers, you're likely not going to hit your number. Right? That's critically important. And in this business, unlike the military, no one is coming to you telling you what to do. Right? If you guys partner with us at the end of this, we're not going to be on you, riding you every day going, what'd you do today? Did you make 10 calls? We'll help you walk through this stuff and figure it out. Right? But at the end of the day, this is a very self-starter, self-motivated business, right? You are the business owner. Even if you're on a team, you're still your own business owner of your real estate business, right? And so that accountability is critically important. Tracking your numbers is very important. So if you don't like spreadsheets, get used to them at least a little bit to put them in. Long-term, we do have plans probably implemented within the next month or two within our Freedom Builders Global Alliance, which is like Wilt Group, right? So it's got build out with courses and with assets and all that type of stuff. We will be building out metrics and calculators for our partner agents. So basically you can just go in and put in your activity in there. It'll auto calculate for you. It'll do all that stuff, tell you whether or not you're short of your goals, all those types of things, so that you have a free asset to be able to run all that stuff through. We will likely do within Freedom Builders Global Alliance leaderboards as well, so that you can see where you compare to your peers that are partner agents. But what I would say is the biggest thing is, are you meeting your personal goals? So I will tell you from being in the industry for several years now, no matter what industry you're in, comparison is the thief of joy. Right? So like looking up to see what other people are doing and trying to implement in your business, perfectly fine. Looking at other people and being like, oh man, they sold, $10 million more than I did this year. I suck. That doesn't work, right? Like be thankful for what you've done, what you've been able to accomplish, recognize it. If you want to improve and you want to get better, that's great. Start diving into your numbers and figure out what went wrong and where to get better, right? But the whole comparison thing is just, it's a killjoy. So, but if anyone has any questions on this, again, we'll either be shooting out like a spreadsheet or building this out in Freedom Builders Global Alliance here in the next couple months. For our partner agents, once that's built, we may release it into Wilt Group University as well for you guys to use before you get your license to become a partner agent, just so that you can run the numbers. All right, so activities, the things that you should be doing on a regular basis, just going through things. Really, the biggest thing to us and what we've found works is, it depends on your approach, but we are very big on do what's within your comfort zone to start with, to start getting some success. So Tasha, and she's talked about this before, she is not super comfortable cold calling. She is definitely not comfortable door knocking, and that's not something that we've implemented in our business. There are a lot of brokerages out there that their training will tell you and will constantly try to reinforce to you cold call and door knock, right? That's like the main way of getting business for those companies. My perspective, again, cold calling, depending upon how you do it, can be really intrusive, get hung up on a lot, super discouraging. So especially for a new agent, that's tough. Door knocking, I think, in today's society especially, intrudes on people's private space. You've got COVID concerns in today's society. People get upset with you, so that doesn't really work to try to start a business relationship. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable that are trying to do it. And it also may put your personal safety at risk, right? You're showing up at someone else's front door. You have no clue who's inside, especially for the females in the group. And I worry about this for my wife. You knock on a door, it's a big guy inside, and he yanks you in and closes the door. No one knows you're there. What are you going to do? Right? Like, you've put yourself in a tough spot, unfortunately, not knowing what's on the other side of the door. And is that really worth it for the business? And I would argue no. Right? So there are other ways to do this business and do this business at a very high level without door knocking. So just keep that in mind. Sphere of influence, right, needs to be on your list for sure. You need, if people are stopped for more than 15 seconds, they need to know what you do for a living. You need to have a 30-second elevator pitch on what you do and why people should use you. What's your value proposition? What do you bring to the table, right? So for new agents, I would argue you're hungry and you have the most amount of time to spend on that individual client's property, right? Whereas an experienced agent that's doing 50 deals at once in a month might give each property an hour of their time. So you have that benefit. Also, everyone on the call coming out of the military, for the most part, American society in general, as far as the military goes, sees the military as hardworking, willing to sacrifice, etc. Right? So use that to your advantage. Hey, I'm transitioning service member. I apply military work ethic or military ethics and integrity to the real estate space that unfortunately is devoid of it. Right? You're new. Okay, talk to your values. If you don't have sales to talk to your values and why they should align with you and work with you, right? So that's your sphere. That's friends, acquaintances, etc. People should know on LinkedIn what you're doing, Facebook what you're doing, Instagram, all that type of stuff. So pick your social media. Expireds you can do. Expireds do get tough. Typically, you have to pay to get the data. So RedX or otherwise, or skip trace to get to the owner. That's not the biggest issue about it, though. That's probably the easiest part about it. The biggest issue is every expired comes up on the MLS. And again, most of these brokerages teach cold calling expireds. So what happens on the day that the contract expires? And what day do most contracts expire? They expire at the end of the year. So 12/31, right? They become new on 1/1. And so what happens on New Year's Day for a lot of homeowners? You've got 100 agents or 200 agents calling you at 7, sometimes in the morning. Some agents start at 8, trying to get your listing. Because you showed an intent before that you want to sell your home. So obviously you still want to sell it, right? You had a bad experience with the agent. Hey, I want to be your new agent. And so they get flooded with people calling. What we found successful was doing other stuff. So for a while there, when Tasha was going after expired, she didn't call. She dropped off packages at the house in manila envelopes that were non-intrusive. They gave actual information that provided an opportunity for the owner to review it at their own convenience without us intruding on their personal space. And we pulled a couple listings out of those. So that worked out well. And then on the goal side, again, I would look at goals. They're definitely not just from a business perspective when you're looking at your overall goals. Factor in all aspects of your life, right? So education, fitness, spiritual, if you have spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs, personal development and books, community and networking, events that you enjoy, family, all those types of things, right? One of the favorite things that I did going to the boot camps is Rod Cleef in his book, and this is in a lot of mindset books and goal books and all that stuff, but they have basically like a pinwheel, and the pinwheel has the different facets of your life. And it asks you to rate where you stand in each of those today and where you want to be in the future. That allows you to see where you've got a gap and allows you to goal plan out to close that gap in the coming time. Because again, if you don't focus on it, it won't happen. So those are the main items and takeaways from this for us. The additional information that we have for you guys. So again, any email, skillbridge@gloatgroup.com until you become a partner agent with us, and then you're a partner agent. So you've got, at that point, Tasha's info to reach out. Or if you come in under Zohar, you'll have his for a direct reach out and then reaching out to us. We are transitioning, as we've talked about, off of Asana. Everyone will want to transition over to Gloat Group University if you haven't already done so. That was one of your steps within Asana. The state meeting groups for Slack. So we're getting, Zohar went through, I think, and set them all up now, or he's pretty close.
Skillbridge internship. There should be a section in there for that.
For which piece? Oh,
In
Gloat Group, yes. So there should be, I think all the states are set up now, or they're close to all being set up. So you can go search for those so that you can get added, request to be added. So that's how that's going to work. Within Gloat Group University, there's a section for Skillbridge. So there's a lot of other assets in there for training. There's a section for the Skillbridge internship, both for the past calls and also for your tasks that were in Asana before. And so that's where you'll be doing those. Tasha is now starting doing weekly meetings in the Verbella suite, which we have. The info is in Gloat Group University. That'll give you the password to get into that. That's a suite much like eXp World. So it's essentially within eXp World, it's a suite within there that's private to our team. And so you guys, for the new folks that are coming in, that'll be done 9 a.m. Pacific time in there. If you guys have a question that you want to ask, you can always pop in and ask the question during that time too. Tasha did, I believe, send out a form before so that you can request Skillbridge topics, or going through that route so that we can come up with topics for the future meetings. And then as of right now, the next Skillbridge meeting is scheduled for February 9th, happening every month on the second Wednesday of the month, unless we change that within the Slack channel due to schedule conflicts. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'll open it up for questions at this point, either on anything I talked about or just the program in general.
So I've been watching a lot of information about the EXP and how to build your platform. I don't know, your clients, I
Okay.
guess, your team.
Yep.
So, when I do pass my test, I want to partner with you guys, or whatever the right terminology is.
Sure.
How much of, obviously I want to be successful and I want to have, $1 million income or whatever the case may be. I want to be the next big agent here in this area, but how much of it is going to focus on the actual recruitment part to get people on your team?
All depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
That's up to you. There's no forced. We have people that are partner agents of ours that do not want to talk to other people about becoming an agent. It's either they're fearful of it or they're just not in that right place right now where it's right for them. That's fine.
Okay.
We don't force that on anyone. So if that's something you want to do, great. We'll help you. If it's something that you don't want to do, cool. That's fine too. Go out and sell homes, help clients buy and sell homes, right? That's the main focus of why we're here, right? The revenue share that you're talking about, the coaching contribution income, is really a side collateral benefit provided by eXp, which no other company provides, and it's optional. Yep. Good question.
Thank you.
Yep. What else?
I had a question.
Go for it.
So upon graduation of Skillbridge, when you get out, when you speak about partnering with you guys, are you talking about, so I'm located in San Antonio, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be an agent under Gloat Group, or is it still one of those, you're still trying to build your own business under EXP, but for me, it would be here in San Antonio?
Yeah, good question. So basically what you would do is, as a partner agent of ours, that just means that we're sponsoring you into the company, right? So everyone, when they come into the company, they either have a sponsor or EXP corporate claims them. That's just how it works. The sponsor's role is to figure out who gets the coaching and contribution income, right? And so it's really, who are you aligning with to coach you as you build your business, and who are they aligned with that's also going to help you. So I think we've mentioned it before, but like, our group is one of the most powerful groups in all of EXP. If you just look at the raw numbers, you know, we've got Lauren Taylor, who's built a $1 billion nationwide network, is one of our mentors. We've got the Vasquez group out of Hawaii that Zohar has aligned with, and we helped him get onto their team, made the introduction there to build his business, right? And that's part of what we look at as well for folks that want to be on a team, is making those introductions to high performing teams that can help them build their business quicker, right? But we've got those two on there, Mary Simmons Maloney, who runs a $125 million team. Next for us is Kyle Whistle, who's doing a $350 million team in San Diego. Dan Beer is next up, who's got a $600 million team in San Diego. And then we go up through Curtis Johnson, who's running a team out in Arizona that's absolutely killing it, selling several hundred homes a year. And up to Chuck Fazio, who closed down a $2 billion a year independent real estate brokerage, the largest one in the nation, to come over to EXP. So that's our group, right? Those are the people that, by partnering with us, you have access to. Now, to your question of, are you woke group or not? We have 2 locations right now where we've opened expansion teams, which is Gainesville, Florida, and Carrollton, Missouri. That's not to say that we wouldn't consider other expansion teams, but we don't have one in San Antonio right now. So what happens with that from an EXP perspective, you would come in with us as your sponsor agent, right? That means you're partnering with us. You will get assigned as a new agent, a local mentor, who is going to help walk you through the nuances of San Antonio, Texas real estate. So the forms, any local policies, all that type of stuff, as you go through that. That's for your first 3 transactions. There is an extra 20% fee for that on top of the 80-20 split. 10% of that goes towards the mentor when you close a deal, 10% goes to EXP to pay for that program. And then you would graduate and you would be on your own, if you will. Now, you also have the option, again, if you come out and you join a team, basically the team lead becomes your mentor. And now you don't have that mentor split, right? And so that's an option as well. But if you want to be an independent agent coming out and just build your own business and you don't want to align with a team, that's how it would work, is you go through the mentorship program, graduate, and then be doing your own thing. So by doing that, you can build your business, you can brand. I mean, EXP is super heavy on agents branding themselves, not branding EXP. So I just got off a call earlier today with top producers in the company and top attractors in the company, where the VP of the Western region stated that again, of, hey, other companies, they focus on the brand, right? Remax is Remax is Remax, Compass is Compass, whatever. Now you're commoditizing the agent, and it's like going to the grocery store to buy an apple. Which apple do you choose? They're all the same, right? You look for blemishes, but other than that, you don't want to be with a company where it's, hey, it's all about this brand and that's it. Pick any agent, we're all the same. That's not what you want, right? Because for you, you need to be able to stand out within the industry to be successful. So you don't want people thinking, hey, if I pick any EXP agent, it's fine. You want them looking for you, right? And so how do you do that? You build a brand, right? You build up your success. But like for us, that's why we have Woke Group. We're Woke Group because of California DRE requirements. We're Woke Group brokered by EXP Realty, right? Most states require you to still identify who the brokerage is, whether it's in your name, by having the logo on the sign, whatever. But yeah, you have full rights coming out, you know, after you partner with us to either join a team, talk to us if you want to build an expansion team there. We'll see if there's alignment there, or be an independent agent, go through the mentorship program and build your own brand, and maybe build your own team at some point if that's what you want to do. And if you want to do that, we've obviously got that blueprint for success. Happy to share it with you. Again, EXP is huge on collaboration.
Okay, now from a tax standpoint, what would your suggestion be to a new agent? Would it be more beneficial to join a team and learn the ropes? Because I don't know if you can still use all the tax write-offs because you're a part of their business.
You can use all the same tax write-offs, whether you're on a team or not. You're still an independent contractor.
Okay.
So team or not doesn't matter from a tax perspective. It's really just dependent upon what your desire is for both personal growth, but also, you know, if you want to be on a team, because typically if you're on a team, especially like ours is a half cap team. So what's that mean? Instead of paying 16K to EXP each year, you pay 8, up to 8, right? Before you cap out. But there's on a half cap team, there's no icon program, right? And there's also a requirement that the team lead makes 25% of every deal minimum, even if it's your people that you bring, right? Now, the way that we've done it on ours, not every team does this, is we basically created a replacement program for the EXP icon program that's cash bonuses for our agents. So, but every team does that differently. And so you would want to explore the team setup if that's something that you want with a local team. There's plenty of good EXP teams in Texas. One of the ones that we know in Houston, I think, is expanding out to the San Antonio area, and they're a pretty big team. So we could always make that intro as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. What else do we have? No, there's got to be more questions.
Hey, Dave, it's
Yeah,
Brad
hey,
here.
Hey, what's up,
Go ahead.
Brad?
No, let her go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going to ask if you do join a team and you find that maybe you don't want to be a part of a team, how does that work?
So it'll be dependent upon each team's contract that you sign. So you'll want to review that. When you join a team, there's an EXP team contract that EXP requires for their bookkeeping. There's also typically a separate team contract that's addendums, et cetera, that details all the team internals, because the EXP one is at a very high level. With most teams, if you quit, unless they've made an investment into you, bonus to you up front, anything like that, for most teams, it's really just going to be a question of who's the client go with when you quit. Other than that, I don't know of a team yet that like traps people into a period of exclusivity with the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey,
Go
Dave, it's
ahead,
Brad
Brad.
again.
Yep.
So I'm in super rural, as you can see my background,
Yep.
America. 30-minute radius, maybe 50,000 people.
Okay.
30 minutes either direction. I think my business has to be passive income. I was looking at my license more as an investor, rentals, things of that nature. How do you make money in a super rural? Because my median home price is maybe 150.
Okay.
You're not making money off of sales.
Depends on your volume, right?
Well, yeah, but there's not a volume here.
Right. So I would ask, how many agents do you have in your area? Would be my first
Question.
question. How saturated is it, right? I'll tell you, so our Carrollton, Missouri expansion team that we did, if you look at Carrollton on the map, it's pretty rural too. 10,000 people there, I think. Our agent there right now is killing. When I say killing, I mean, he's in the process of building, right? But he quit his role as chief of police that he was in full time to be a real estate agent.
So dollars, what are we looking at? You know, because
This year he's shooting to hit anywhere between 60 to 100 is his first year as a full-time real estate agent, and then build from there.
as a sales, in the sales role.
That's gross commission income for him.
Okay, so he's in the sales role.
Yeah, he's doing sales. We're setting up an office in the area because, you know, small towns tend to like physical locations, right?
Sure.
I would also say, you know, from that perspective, you know, if you're talking about semi-passive, it's not fully passive, but if you're talking about semi-passive, you have, you know, the coaching and contribution, right? If you have other people that want to join, start that conversation if they want to build real estate careers, because they're not in your town necessarily. And if you're on Facebook, social media, et cetera, and you know folks and you still have connection with the military or just friends that are moving, reach out to them, see how you can help them, see if you can connect them with trusted agents, get a referral fee.
Yeah, because it seems like this area is dominated by one that I've seen predominantly company.
Okay.
So me as the new guy,
Yep.
how the hell am I? How am I going to infiltrate their
So
market?
again, he was the new guy, man. EXP, like they had to file an application with his AOR because they didn't have a single EXP agent there, right? It took 2 months for him to get accepted to the AOR because that AOR only takes checks in person. They won't take payment online, and they lost the initial check, right? So I get it. Like, it's not the typical environment that most of us are dealing with. But again, from a mindset perspective and everything else, I would say there is a way and you can make it happen if you want to. And he's proof, and I'm more than happy if you want to shoot me a message, I'm more than happy to connect you guys so you can chat with him.
Because it's kind of discouraging, doing the little research around here that
Yeah.
as the new guy, because it's rural America, it's all
Yep.
about who you are and who knows you.
Yep.
It's not about who you hang your license with, whatever, the Caldwells and the whatevers don't matter
Right.
out here. Out here is the Covington,
Yep.
real estate, agency. That's what
Right.
they know. They don't know Caldwell. They don't know Keller. They know Jim Bob at, so and so. So to try to infiltrate that market's kind of discouraging.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's why I'm happy to connect you guys. I would say the opportunity that you have is A, getting into the market and selling a few homes to start with to get your name out there. And B, sitting down with that real estate company, chatting with them about what they're doing and finding out why they're not on the EXP platform. Because that's really all EXP is. And I'm not kidding, man. Our guy out in Carrollton is doing the same thing with people there. EXP allows you to operate internationally like a pseudo broker without having a broker's license, any broker compliance, any payroll, any HR, any tech support. You have no overhead.
Yeah.
So coaching and contribution income, right? For us having this call right now, Zoom cost me $175 a year. There's my overhead for this call. Other than that, it's my time and my knowledge, right? So if you've got that and you've got hustle, you can find a way to build a business with coaching and contribution to other folks, even as a new agent. Start putting your stuff that you're doing on social media, right? When you do it, hey, I'm a new agent. Here's how I'm going to break into a rural market. Here's a tip for you. Here's what I do. We've seen other agents implement this very successfully. When you start the process of joining EXP with us and you partner with us, video it, go live. What's my experience like with EXP? I'm in rural America. I know it's going to be different. I can tell you right now that the joining process for you is going to be bumpy. It's going to take longer than everyone else because, again, from experience, it's probably a 1.5 to 2 month process, depending upon how your AOR is on getting a new broker joined to that AOR, right? Do videos on that. Do videos on the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And then do videos as you start breaking into the market and selling homes, because you're not the only one in America dealing with this challenge. And as you put that out there, that's a very specialized niche that other people will seek out. That will either help you make connections across the country to do referrals or possibly help you with agent attraction. And you don't have to have all the agent attraction calls, by the way. If you're not comfortable, once you get some initial data, there's other people in the organization that will help you with those calls, right? Not everyone's extroverted. That's perfectly fine. I'm an extrovert. Tasha's an introvert. She's been super successful in this business. Doesn't matter which side you're on, right? It's all welcome here. Everyone can be successful. So, you've got some unique challenges, but nothing that can't be overcome or hasn't already been overcome in the past.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. And if you want to get into rentals and stuff too, there's all those opportunities as well, right? EXP allows you to buy 3 deals a year in your personal name without paying any commission to EXP. So I don't know if another brokerage.
Can you say that again?
EXP allows you to buy or sell in total 3 deals per, can't remember if it's agent year or calendar year, that are in your name. So deals that you want to buy as ones that you're going to own, or in the name of an LLC that you own, without owing a 20% split to EXP. You'll still owe E&O of $40. You'll still owe the $25 broker review fee. So your cost to take down a deal in your personal name in EXP can be as little as $65. And you still get the commission on the deal. So it's the best one that I know of. We're big into real estate investing. So that was a big criteria of mine. That answer your question in full, Brad?
Yeah, I look forward to probably connecting with that other guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like it's quite discouraging right now.
Yeah.
So myself, or my household, I should say, my son, my brother-in-law, we're all looking to invest. So maybe use my license for that.
Okay.
Maybe do a few rentals and whatnot. So one or the other, whichever. I just don't want to spend 40 hours a week on the road to make a few bucks a month.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to figure out how to make a few bucks, I should say.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the referral aspect again can be huge.
Okay.
We paid out think we paid out 80 grand last year in referral fees.
Okay. And I've got a base nearby, so I've got people coming and going, but
Okay,
that's 45 minutes away from me,
sure.
which is an investment in time. So I just don't want to spin my wheels, so to speak, just to make a few
Sure.
bucks.
Recruit another agent.
All right.
Recruit one that's near the base that'll join with you at EXP, where people that you know coming to that base, you'll funnel them to that person to actually be the boots on the ground and take care of them.
All right.
We very rarely now go out and do showings. We have buyer's agents, right? We hand them our clients on a silver platter with a buyer rep signed and a pre-approval and say, here you go, here's your buyer agent, go out and start seeing homes. And they get a portion of that commission. They had to do no lead gen or anything else.
All right.
So there's a million ways you can set up your business model, right? EXP doesn't mandate any of that stuff. So always happy to have, future chats. Again, shoot us a message. I'll get you connected with Chris. You guys can chat.
I think we're still, I still owe you that phone call anyhow that we had to cancel. So
Okay.
maybe we can discuss it more at that point.
Yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead and get it set up. You should have the link to our account list still.
Will do.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, any other questions? We got 4 minutes left.
Hi, David. I
Hey.
do have a question as a California, maybe realtor.
Okay.
I know that some of us here in California, after submitting our applications for the exam and everything, we are seeing a little bit more of a back than we were initially anticipating for actually testing.
Yeah.
How will that impact us if we're not able to take the exam by the time that our internship is over?
Sure. Good question. So I'll say there's two aspects to this. Number one, DRE is way backed up, right? So do everything you can to help yourself in that process. So to do that, submit a combo app. Don't ever submit the app just to test. Submit the combo app with non-broker affiliated or non-working status, right? Because for EXP, you have to pass your test first before they'll allow you to join the company. And that's what starts that process. So you have to do non-broker affiliated because they won't sign the paperwork. That step alone will save you anywhere from 1.5 months to 3 months in the process. Okay. As far as the question of what happens if you don't pass your test before you end, for us, this is long-term helping military members transition. I don't care if you're in the Skillbridge program or not at the end of the program. If you want to partner with us, you can stay in all the asset systems that you're in today. No different, right? There's a couple differences. You're not getting DoD pay, right?
Yep.
But the advantage to that side of it, once you get your license, is you can actually get your commission when you close, because now you're not under the DoD rules of not being able to get commission.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
again, we're in the long term for this to partner with anyone that wants to partner with us coming out of this, that gets their license and actually wants to build a real estate business. That's the purpose of this program that we spent a lot of time and money to create.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank that alleviates a lot of stress.
Yeah, I hope so. And yeah, so Slack, you'll still have access to, Book Group University, all that stuff. We're not looking to boot people out on, hey, you graduated, you're out of the system, sorry. Like, that's just not our process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have I'm sorry if I'm interrupting anybody else's question, but do you have anybody in this program who is kind of in that situation at the moment? You don't have to name any names or anything, but like where they're having to take on another job at the same time that they're
Yeah, we
finishing
do. Yeah, we've had people come out that are still waiting to be able to test and get licensed. That are like, hey, I got to go find a part-time job or a full-time job for now while I'm waiting. You got to feed your family at the end of the day, right? So, if that's the case, what I would say is do what you got to do for the short term. Keep what your long-term goal is in mind, and if that's still real estate, great.
Yep.
We've had some people come out of this program and go, you know what, real estate's not for me. I went through the program, doesn't interest me, or it's boring, or it's going to be too hard, or whatever the case is. And obviously that's,
If it's gonna be too hard, that's a mindset.
yeah,
issue.
it is a mindset issue.
Sorry.
That's right. But that's not an ideal scenario. Obviously, we want people coming out of this being able to transition into their next career. But at the same time, part of the reason for the Skillbridge program is to give you guys new skills, new experiences, and see if this is something for you. If it's not, at least you found out, at least you can go 6 months unpaid as a realtor to decide, hey, I'm going to wash out and this isn't what I'm going to do. You went 3 months or 6 months or whatever your term was getting paid from DoD to find out that this isn't what you want to do. Great. That's still a success story to me. right? That still provides the proper support to transitioning military members so that they're not out on the street, right? Without pay, without a job. So hopefully 90+% of folks coming out of this, 95+% will decide that they want a career in real estate, right? But again, it's not for everybody. It is definitely, it can be tough. Go look at real estate memes, join some of the real estate meme groups. You'll see, and it's every business owner. So it's not real estate. The whole roller coaster of emotions and everything else. Hey, I'm amazing. Oh, I suck. This is horrible. Hey, I love life. Oh, life really sucks. Right? Like it's a roller coaster of emotions that you go through when you're a business owner. And that's any industry whatsoever, whether it's real estate or not. Real estate agents probably get hit even more because within our industry, we don't get paid till the end. Right? It's very unique. I don't love it, but it's part of why your commission checks are good size when you do actually get them to make up for all the unpaid work with other clients that don't actually close. But we don't get paid till the end. Try doing that with a doctor, a lawyer, right? Any other profession. Try even doing it with a tire shop, right? Hey, I'm not going to pay you guys at all. I want you to order tires for me, but I'm not going to pay you, and hopefully I don't skip out on you. If they're running a good business, they're ordering materials with very little margin. They're charging up front. Realtors, we're not allowed in this country to charge up front, right? With the way our commission structures are set up and with the precedents that's been set. There's also a lot of other differences here, like our commission is paid based upon what the listing agent negotiates. That's not how it is in a lot of foreign countries. In foreign countries, for most of them, the buyers pay the commission. And so it's what you negotiate with your buyer client. But FYI for everyone on the call, I don't think we've discussed this before, just small tangent. For VA buyers, you are federally prohibited from charging them any fees whatsoever to represent them as a buyer. It's not allowed. As a seller, obviously, it's not tied to a VA loan. You can charge them a sale commission. But on the buy side, like if the commission's too low or whatever, you can't charge them a buyer broker fee, transaction coordinator fees, you can't charge them anything. So just be aware of that, because I have seen agents try to do it, and I don't think it's malicious. I think it's just they don't know the law. And it's not talked about much. So I know we're over by a couple minutes. Out of respect for everyone's time, I will take one more question, and then we'll bounce for today. No one? Someone's got an open mic. Brandon, what's up, man?
Janetta, do you have something to say? Mine's not so important. Mine's only asking for an opinion.
No, I just was gonna say today was a good refresher, like a reset, a mind reset, because it gets a little frustrating, and I'm with you, Leah. I'm close to the end, and my application got rejected this week because the people didn't fill out the fingerprint portion correctly. Not my fault. So now I got to start this process all over again, drive an hour and a half away. Daycare's closed again for another 2 weeks. It's just frustrating, but I know in the long term we'll be in good hands. I feel very confident about that. So there's some bump in the roads. Hell, I'll go flip burgers if I have to, just to put some food on the table for my family. So, but you're not the only person. You're not alone. So we'll get through it together.
So my quick opinion was I've done a handful of classes on EXP World, and I've noticed the majority of successful people are partnering with their spouse, working together. What's the best advantage with doing that? It seems like everyone's doing it.
I mean, so we're doing it, obviously, right? There's a lot of people that have done it within the company. There's different ways of structuring it from that perspective. I think one of the advantages, obviously, for their success is if you learn how to work together, which I'm not going to say is easy, right? Tasha and I had our bumps for the first couple of years. I mean, heck, we had our bumps deciding what her career was going to be after nursing didn't work out, right? To the point where, like, me not understanding her completely at that point, I was recommending air traffic controller and crap like that because it was 6+ figures, right? I was only looking at the money at the time for what's going to get us to retirement. And she's sitting there like, you realize how stressful a job that is? I'm probably going to kill some people right up in the air. There is no way I'm doing that job. And I'm an introvert? No. Right? So I think part of it is figuring out how to work together. There's plenty of, if you're looking at that down the line or whatever, there's plenty of stuff out there and material out there. Friends of ours, Josu and Rebecca Soto, have a show called Married in Real Estate and a podcast, Married in Real Estate. That's a good one to check out, where they interview other successful people in the industry that are married that are doing real estate together, right? We've obviously found a way to make it work. For us, it was about a year or two, probably of bumps as we were growing our business and figuring out where our roles were delineated, right? Because that's the biggest issue, is not stepping on each other's toes, but also understanding everyone works at a different level. So like if you're putting in a 10-hour day and your spouse is putting in an 8-hour day in real estate, like that's okay. Understand everyone's got to tap out where they need to tap out, right? And for me, that, for us, that was a little tough. At first, just getting to understand that and everything else. And then delineating those roles, figuring out your strengths is the biggest thing. So doing like a SWOT analysis. So your strengths and weaknesses, especially for each spouse, and then going, okay, does one spouse that has a weakness, does the other partner, do they have a strength in that area? Because if they do, that's the spouse that you have do that activity. You don't try to force your spouse that feels as though they have a weakness or has a weakness in that area. You don't force them to try to overcome when you've got that skill set already. Right? Like, so for us, when we have investor clients, it pretty much all goes to me because I'm a numbers person. And also our investor clients tend to be very logic focused and looking at just numbers. That's me all day long. I'm an engineer that's an extrovert that likes numbers, right? If we have clients that are more on the emotional side and the emotions of buying and all that stuff, that is not me. That's Tasha, right? Mm-hmm. And so Tasha will take lead in those calls because she's going to connect more with those clients. And so I think that's where it helps them become super successful too, especially if there are different personalities like that, finding those strengths and weaknesses, because you can use that to your advantage within an integrated team that's sitting in the same spot and knows each other intimately, right? Like you're going to get to know your team members if you build out a team, but not to the level, obviously, that you know your spouse. So working together can be, highly advantageous from that perspective. Now, from the sponsorship perspective, some people come in on what's called a domestic position. So domestic position allows you each, I think, pay the $85 a month fee, but you have one cap of $16K that you have to meet. You get one icon reward. So you're all working towards one common goal. We didn't do it that way. I ran the numbers, did the modeling, did all that stuff, knowing where we want to go in business over time. And Tasha came in first, like we came in the same day, but Tasha came in first, I came in under her. Because our goal was nesting under each other so that as we build out our organization, we have 2 different levels instead of 1 as a married couple. Now, I had to get a call at the time, this was three years ago, next month. I had to get a call at the time from one of the EXP vice presidents who was like, and at the time there wasn't 2 separate fees. They were reduced fees for the domestic position. He's like, you realize you're going to pay like an extra $1,000 a month and this and that, and you're going to have 2 caps to meet, 2 icon awards, all that stuff. Like there's very few people in this business doing this successfully at EXP. You sure you want to do this, right? And I had to walk through that. I was like, look, dude, like I've done the numbers. I know all this stuff. I got it. I know I'm taking a financial risk, but I'm betting on us. I'm good with it. He's like, all right, cool. You're approved. I just wanted to make sure that you would run through the stuff. Mm-hmm. Right. But yeah, I mean, again, there's multiple ways to do that. If that's something that's, on the horizon for you, always happy to have that chat for anyone.
She's really into dance, but she's very good at grammar, social media, and video editing.
Sure. So she can do all that without a license.
She doesn't have a license, no.
Yeah. So she can do all your video editing, all that stuff though, without a license, right?
Yeah, correct.
There's only certain things that require a license in this business. So quoting price and term, negotiating contracts, all those types of things. Like if she likes documents and stuff, she could do TC work for you. Yeah. Right. So transaction coordinator work without a license. So it's up to you whether or not you want to have her go through the licensing process, the fees each year to be part of the MLS, EXP, all that stuff. If you're looking to build bigger as a real estate team for the sales side, maybe it's worth it. If you're looking to use her in other roles, it's probably not worth it.
Just trying to get some pointers, so maybe I can convince her one of these days.
Yeah. Just let us know. I mean, we're an open book too, guys, as far, and our mentors are as well, right? They'll share commission, they'll share all that stuff. So if you guys want to ask questions like, okay, what it looked like the first year? I mean, we've been very open with that, right? We brought home 15K in real estate the whole first year. For needing to support your family, it wasn't a great year, right? Luckily, we had Air Force income, we had all that stuff. So that wasn't the primary driver for us, right? And so that was okay. But that built the stages for 6 figures the next several years and then 7 figures this last year, right? So And that's another thing, right? You start out this business, you sell 2 homes your first year. That doesn't mean you're going to be a failure the rest of your career. I think we had 5 home sales that first year, but our previous brokerage took over half our commission. So
Thank you for answering my question. That's all I had.
absolutely. All right, guys, out of respect for everyone's time, we're 10 minutes over. Appreciate everyone's involvement and contributions today and you guys participating. Hope that you found this helpful from the mindset perspective and everything else. The video will end up getting uploaded. I'm sure Tasha will probably toss the slides up if possible. So those will be available to you. Again, reach out to us, or Zohar as you have questions as you go through the program, and look forward to our next call with all of you and helping you build your business.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Out here, guys.
Thank you.